What was Wonder Woman and Superman's true character arc in the Snyder Cut? Welcome back to Strong Arm Flix. This is episode 7. I'm your boy Tflame, and I'm here with you with another episode of A Film Theory. So, in this video, this is more of a film theory based on small things that I've seen and heard over the last year or so, and I've kind of pieced together somewhat of a theory. Not quite as concrete as my last video, but let's dive in. So, you know how Zack Snyder posted a picture quite a while back of Wonder Woman chopping off Steppenwolf's head? And he said, in the caption he put, "I use gods to kill gods." And this got me thinking, okay, I remember a year and a half back, there was I can't remember who it was. There was a guy that was reviewing all the shit that they had pieced together at the time from the trailer, the first 2 trailers of Justice League, and he compared it to the actual theatrical footage. And he was showing scenes here and there of Wonder Woman smirking, Wonder Woman, little pieces of extended scenes, and just shit that they cut that didn't make sense with Wonder Woman and Superman. Like, it seemed like some of the scenes where Wonder Woman was kind of cocky and prideful and like on a mission, if you will. And it got me thinking, in the theatrical cut, Steppenwolf, he fucking wipes out a shit ton of Amazonian warriors, okay? And as you remember from the Wonder Woman movie, her Amazonian sisters mean the world to her. She loves the hell out of them. And it just made me think, like, okay, how come in the theatrical cut they never even really show us Wonder Woman's reaction to this shit? There was one scene in the movie where Steppenwolf's talking to her, and he said something about the blood of your sisters is still on my blade. And real quick, she gets gets a look on her face like, like, really? And, for that one scene, she fights just a hair harder, trying to stop him, And I think that there was supposed to be a lot more to that, and they toned it way down for the theatrical cut because it was very Zack Snyderish. And I think that she found out earlier than Steppenwolf saying that scene. I think that scene was, and that dialogue was added in, and I think that she knew right off rip when they shot the arrow that was on fire to warn Wonder Woman after the Steppenwolf initial attack of the Amazonians. I think she found out right then and there, when that went off. I think right after that, she found out that her sisters in arms, a lot of them were murdered, just straight slaughtered by Steppenwolf. And I think that there was probably a scene where she maybe even had like a sort of a breakdown, and I think that Wonder Woman was a bit unhinged in the movie, and I think Wonder Woman was out for blood. I think Wonder Woman was on a mission to whoop Steppenwolf's ass, and I also believe that's the reason why at the end of the movie, Zack had Wonder Woman was the one that dealt the final deadly blow to Steppenwolf and sliced his mother freaking head off. It was like it would have made sense in the Snyder Cut for that to happen. Not just it happened to be Wonder Woman that killed Steppenwolf. Like, Wonder Woman got her justice for her sisters that got killed. And I think that was a big arc and part of her plot in the movie. And I think that it was a little dark and serious. And remember all the complaints now, and you keep in mind all the complaints and criticisms from bloggers and Disney critics and shit that was going on around that time. They always planned on trying to lighten up Justice League. I just think that is something that they reshot and changed her arc. What do you guys think about that? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you think that Wonder Woman would have been more upset than what she was in the movie and would have spoke at least had some kind of a scene where they showed her get emotional, like you know, more than just the little scene where she like raised her eyebrows and made like a serious face for 1 second, fought Steppenwolf for like 2 minutes, and then fell to the ground, and Flash grabbed her sword back, and then, you know, the scene was over, and then she never talks about it, or again, she never gets pissed off again. You know, what do you think about that? Do you think that what Zack had in mind for Wonder Woman's arc was revenge? I think it's a real possibility. Also, now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was Superman in the Snyder Cut. And as you know, Zack Snyder is keeping Superman and Batman close to his heart. You notice that all the shit that he drops, he has barely hinted at anything from the Snyder Cut of Justice League pertaining to Superman and Batman. And I know for a fact that their arcs were completely fucking changed, almost completely fucking reshot. You know what I'm saying? And you notice he doesn't drop much about Superman and Batman. So what goes on with them in the movie is still a large mystery. There's got to be a reason for that. Now, specifically with Superman, there's some picture art or toy picture art for Justice League that I seen on Twitter the other day, and it's legitimate toys that were made for Justice League early on, and I was talking with another guy about it on Twitter, because I seen this picture of a toy art, and it was Superman, and in it shows Superman with glowing red eyes, and I'm like, okay, that's similar to BVS, okay, that could be in the Snyder Cut. But then I seen another toy model, and the other toy model, it shows Superman, and he's got this crazy ass look on his face. And he's like, it looks like he's like almost like screaming or something. And he's shooting his eye laser beams. And it's not just the normal eye laser beams though. Like this shit, it looks like his fucking face is on fire. Like all around his eyes, it looks like it's shooting fucking flames off of his eyes. And then the laser beams are coming out, and it looks like it's painful, it looks like he's pissed, and it looks like he's unhinged. And I think that this toy art, I know that some of the toys that they released, the action figures and shit, prior to a movie's release, 90% of the time, they're accurate to what is going to be in the movie, in some sense. Now, whether that scene gets cut out of the movie or not, that doesn't mean that wasn't in the movie. Very rarely, and then there has been sometimes where they just put their unique little spin on some of the toy action figures, but more likely than not, this is a fucking Zack Snyder scene from the Snyder Cut that this toy model of Superman was modeled after. And it would, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of merit to go off because Zack Snyder has not released a goddamn thing except for maybe, I want to say, one picture of Superman and one picture of Batman from the Snyder Cut that we haven't seen ever on Vero. Unlike everybody else, he releases tons of shit. So, I don't know. This almost looks like Darkseid's Omega Beam. You know what I'm saying? The way that Darkseid fucking his shit lights up and glows and then he shoots it. I don't know if Superman could have been like under Darkseid or under Steppenwolf or the anti-life equation. He could have been succumbing to it before the Flash had to run back in time, which is in the movie to some extent. We don't know how it plays out in the story exactly, but we know that something along the lines is in the movie. It could have been the moment he started falling to the anti-life equation. It could have been, but more likely, this is what I think it is. I remembered an interview a while back. I don't remember if it was right before Justice League hit theaters or right after. It was around that time. They did an interview with Henry Cavill, and it was talking about Superman, and it had to do with Justice League. And I remember him talking about something, and he said something about Superman coming back and being unhinged and just displaying his raw power. And it got me thinking, maybe something similar to that was in the Justice League Snyder Cut. And maybe that was part of Superman's arc, was him after life coming back. Maybe after he came back to the realization of he's Superman and he got all his memories back, maybe he was more powerful for some reason. Maybe he was pissed off and maybe he was just going ham in the movie, you know what I'm saying? And that's there's a scene where his fucking face is lit up like that, and it's just boom, shooting powerful. Because this shit that they're displaying in this action figure, this is way more powerful than anything that we've seen Superman do with his laser beams in Man of Steel or BVS. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, in the theatrical cut of Justice League, Superman only uses his laser beams one time in the movie. And it's near the end, and it's when he's helping the team fight Steppenwolf. And he's like, this guy's still giving you guys problems. And he comes down and laser beams Steppenwolf real quick. And then Steppenwolf's on the ground, and then he reaches down, punches Steppenwolf in the face, then he grabs him and then throws him. Now, I seen back about a year or so ago when they were reviewing the footage from the theatrical cut of Justice League and what was in the trailer 1 and trailer 2, they showed a scene where they confirmed right then and there that in the Snyder cut, the scene where Superman lasers him, then stops lasering him and punches him and then throws him real quick, that in the Snyder cut and in the initial 1 or 2 trailers, that there is a scene where it shows Superman lasering Steppenwolf, but while he's lasering him, he punches the shit out of Steppenwolf, like a couple of times. He don't just punch him once. He's beating the shit out of him while he's lasering him at the same time, and for some reason the theatrical cut, they changed it in the actual footage. They changed it, and he lasers him, stops, reaches down, hits him one time, then throws him. When in the Snyder cut, he's giving him a fucking barrage of attacks while he's lasering him. To me, that falls more in line with my Superman slightly unhinged theory, but in a positive way. And maybe that was part of Superman's arc. What do you guys think about that? Let me know about that in the comment section below. Also, I want to know if you guys enjoy these videos, because it's very time consuming to make. I just want to make sure that people actually enjoy these videos, and if you think that I should continue making them. I'm your boy Tflame. If you like what you hear, like what you see, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. Until next time.